So, a lot of my students have been talking to me about the concept between providing insight and providing value when we're producing content online. And all of the people that, I've studied or seen or kind of watched on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on various other platforms are giving away value as if it's like popcorn, right? So, what do I mean by that? When you give somebody everything away, then they can run away with that and implement it, right? So that is what value is. Insight is providing the result of something happening to inspire somebody and tell them that that was the result of the action that you took, but without actually giving the value away. So I think the best way to demonstrate this is to give an example of the difference between insight and value. So let's take, for example, a recipe. If you were to bake a cake, the value of it would be me telling you how much flour you need to buy, how many eggs you need to buy, how to actually mix it and boil it down and put it in the oven and what temperature. And if I just gave you that, you would go and bake the cake on your own, right? Now, if I wanted to sell you that recipe, what I would do is actually tell you how good of a time I had eating the cake with my sister, for example, this afternoon, how lovely it was, the happy moment that we both experienced, and how fucking amazing the cake was, right? So if we just think about that for a minute, as a consumer, you would read that or watch that and think, oh, how did that cake make this person feel? Great. Now, how can I get a hold of this recipe? And you would ask for the recipe. So that is the difference between insight-driven content and value-driven content. Now, a lot of people say, give away everything and then people will buy the implementation. And that works, right? Like there's no good or bad, and it depends on industry sector. But if we look at the consulting space, the writing space, the coaching space, if you give everything away, then there's nothing for them to buy, right? So you get people coming back going, oh, cool, let me try your stuff and then come back. What we want is people to come and buy your stuff. So when we provide insight, we can think of a problem, for example. We tell them what the problem is. We give them the why, why is this problem happening? And then we want to tell them, look in this direction because this thing is happening because of that. We're not giving the value of it, but we're telling you sort of where you need to look into. And then we can pivot away from that and say, now, if you want the value, obviously we can work together. You can buy this thing, whether it's a lead magnet or subscribe to my list, and you're bridging that gap. So every time you think of insight-driven content, think of that problem, direct them into the why, and then bridge it into where do I need to look to make this happen? And usually that is your service. So there's something I'd like for you to take in today and think about it when you're reviewing your content.